Well, I guess this is just a reflection of where we're at. But if you had have asked me 48 hours ago if I would have been happy with a 12-point margin, I probably would have said yes. And I think I still am. Obviously, you never want to lose. It's disappointing. You always go in wanting to win. But I think after the performances you obviously put up the last 2 weeks, losing by over a combined 200 points, it's pretty flattening and pretty hard to get up for games. And, you go in, you're starting to expect the worst every week. And we were competitive earlier in the year, but you start to think, is that dipping? And you really have your doubts. But, after consecutive weeks of kicking a sub 50 point score, we did manage to hit the scoreboard this week. We kicked 10 goals, 14, 74. So we had our options. We had shots on goal. We were getting the ball forward, which is a great start, which we hadn't been doing in previous weeks. And we did hit the scoreboard, probably too inaccurate. And obviously it probably cost us in the end as well, which I'll get more into. But I think for the occasion that it was, Dreamtime at the G, just under 80,000 people there, one of our bigger crowds for the season, it was good to see us actually give effort, and we tried. And I think, Uze's been saying it every week, you can't fault the effort, but unfortunately, sometimes when you have those big margin blowouts like we've had, the effort has to be looked at, So I think to play the way we did against a team that's sitting third or second or third in the ladder, whatever they are at the moment, I thought we did quite well. And again, we had opportunities to pinch the game as well, and we just got unlucky in certain areas. And, Essendon could say the same thing, when you look at it that way as well. But obviously, you're never going to go away happy with a loss, but I'm also happy it wasn't a blowout like I thought it might have been. So, I'll get into a few of the nitty-gritties. I think goals from turnover, it was obviously a massive, massive issue against Brisbane. Something I would have liked to have worked on heading into this game, as it was such a bad point for us. And then we did it again. I remember sitting there at one point, I had Bombers supporters behind me, and I heard them mention that they'd kicked 7 goals at this point of the game when I heard this. And I heard them say to themselves, geez, all 7 of our goals have all come from turnover. Now, that's we just can't be doing that. Like, obviously, there's going to be goals from turnover. It's always going to happen. You can't eradicate them completely. But essentially, that means that we're giving them the ball back and giving them goals in a roundabout way. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but to simplify things or to oversimplify things, that's essentially what we were doing. And we did it against Brisbane. We started to do it again against Essendon, and we did it. Well, no, we did do it. Sorry, I shouldn't say we started to. We did. And it's going to kill you every time. We just look slow on the rebound. So if they turned it over, we couldn't cover their spread. They moved the ball so well, and we couldn't chop it off. There was players standing by themselves. I'm not sure how this always happens with Richmond, but there's just always players left alone. It happens every time. So in that sense, we haven't learnt, unfortunately, which is why I was still proud that we're able to keep in the game and get some damaging scoreboard efforts ourselves. And obviously Dustin Martin, I'll talk about him in a little bit, because obviously there's been a bit of speculation around him this week. But, goals from turnover, big point. Obviously, the club would obviously be looking at it, but it's something we just need to keep tweaking until we get right, because at the moment it is a pain point for us, and it's going to keep costing us games one way or another. Another thing I liked, we did throw the magnets around a little bit. Obviously, Samson Ryan came into the side, which I'm a fan of. I think we needed a presence. Probably didn't have the game he would have loved to have had, but we're going to keep giving him games. That's the thing. You're not going to bring him up to AFL level, expect him to dominate, and if he doesn't, he's out of the side. Like, you're not going to grow from that. We do need a presence up forward as well. Nack probably needs a chop out in the ruck, and we can't really afford to keep throwing Pickett or Bolter up there. So I don't see why we don't stick with Samson and ride this one out for a little bit anyway. If we give him a 5-week block, for example, and he doesn't step up, then you go, okay, maybe back to the twos. But I think we're going to give this guy an opportunity. I think he will be talented. He is very good at his ruck craft as well. He has a lot of hit-outs to advantage, which is fantastic. I'd love to see him get a bit stronger in marking contests, so I'll clunk a few big ones, because with his height, he's got a lot of potential to do some damage in the air. So I'd love to see that, but I was happy with Noah Bolter in the back line as well. Like, I just mentioned his name before, but we've just been getting crucified up there, and obviously with 2 Meter Peter running around, Tyler Young played VFL, did his ACL as well, and the injuries, we get one player back, another 2 go down. It's so hard to get any continuity. And I know Tyler Young was playing VFL, but would he have been there that long? I really don't know. It might have been another week or two just to sharpen up, and he would come straight back in. So I don't know. It's a real shame. That's another young player now, like a Gibcus. He'll miss a 12 months now development opportunity, and that's costly at a young age. It really is. So I think we needed Noah Bolter in the back line, and I'm glad we got him there. I thought he was quite good as well. He looks more natural there, and obviously he's got abilities, and he can run forward, and he can kick goals if he has to, but it doesn't look as natural to me. And I know, everyone's going to have mixed opinions on this, but for me, I think he's going to be in the back line. He just looks more suited to it from a personal point of view. So I was very happy with that. But other than that, I thought there was some overall, pretty good performances. Shea Bolton was keeping us right in that game until obviously he went down with the concussion. Dustin Martin, I'll quickly touch on him. I mean, you would have seen all the videos by now. Everyone's putting out reels, footy channels everywhere are sort of blowing up about his performance. And, I think it was not because of the performance itself. It was partly that, but it was partly because of all the media talk around him and, he's checked out, he's playing soft football, he's not interested anymore. And then he comes out and he kicks an unreal classic Dustin Martin banana, the run around bomb from 50 metres out, then he takes a contested mark, snaps that goal, and it was just, and he had other moments as well. Like he probably could have had 5 goals, to be honest with you. He kicked a little straighter, so, and he was sort of running up the ground, getting his teammates involved, 8 score involvements, I'm pretty sure he had, so he was everywhere, and it's the dusty footy that we've probably missed. And obviously you're not going to get those performances every week out of him, but it's no surprise that the big stage, came. It was 80,000 MCG, Dreamtime at the G, and he just lifted, and he lifted the way we needed him to. And honestly, like I said, he probably could have won us that game. In the last quarter, we got it to him a few times, and it was probably just unlucky not to get on the end of a couple more. So outstanding, Dustin Martin. It's a real shame that there's anyone out there that's sort of trying to bring a champion down. I've never understood that. We're really good at that in AFL, I feel, or maybe it's just Australian sport in general, but we're really quick to try and bring a champion down, even if they have hit a form slump or, they're definitely at the back end of their career. I don't understand why we're so quick to bring people down. Maybe I'm just getting salty because it's Dusty, and I think that's probably fair enough from my point of view, but I'm not too sure. But either way, it is a shame to see that. But like I said, Dusty was outstanding. Shea was outstanding. I thought Prestia was really good. I saw a lot of people not happy with his performance. I liked him. I thought he had a great game. Toby Nankervis just quietly has been having a pretty good season as well. Very low key, but he's always, I don't know, he's there. You feel his presence, and I'm happy with how he's moving. So again, it was a pretty decent performance. And I think, like I said, it was the effort that I really love to see. Hugo Ralph-Smith, honestly, every week impressing me more and more and more. Kane McAuliffe out of the middle. He's going to be something special. Thompson Dow. I'm loving what we're seeing from him as well. Like I think now with some continuity under his belt, he's stepping up and becoming something really special as well. So we've got these players. Seth Campbell as well came in, and I saw he took a couple of contested marks. He was moving well. He was tackling, and this is what we need to see. And it's that endeavour from these players. Nick Vlostone just battling every single week. I'm surprised he hasn't had a break. Like he would be cooked at this point of the season. He's been just going nuts every week. I feel for him. And you can see it. You can see his expression. You can see it on his face. He'd be feeling it right now, and he'd be feeling it just as much as any of us supporters that are watching. So big shout out to him. Like I said before, back to the game itself, like an accurate kicking didn't help either team, but we head into the fourth quarter where we're still right in this game. Like it's anyone's game at the start of the fourth quarter, and we kicked 4 points to start the fourth. Now, I'm not saying if those all 4 go through, for example, it's 4 goals to start the fourth quarter. Massive. Like that puts a lot of doubt into another side's head. If you're out there and a team kicks 4 goals on you to start the fourth quarter and they're in the front, they hit the lead, you're sitting there thinking, geez, we're in strife here. And we had an opportunity to do that. Obviously, we couldn't end up hitting them. It was 4 points. I think they might have gone down and kicked a goal as well, made that a little bit more difficult for us. And it was probably the deciding factor in the end, to be honest with you. He was missing those shots early. And obviously there's other things and other factors that take place. But like I said, I think if you kick those 4, doubt does start to creep into the opposition's minds, and you start to get that advantage. The crowd starts to lift. Players feel it. And like I said, Dusty had opportunities late. Just imagine the energy he would have been feeling if we had to kick 4 straight, and he was on the end of 1 or 2 of those. So I think we did have the momentum early. Shea Bolton going down with 20 minutes left still to go in that quarter absolutely killed us. We know how much of a match winner he can be, and we can look at injuries and all that all we want, but you look at someone like Shea and he goes down at a crucial part of the match when it was still very, very winnable, you just think that that's another difference maker right there. You know, and obviously he'll miss Geelong next week now in concussion protocols, which is, you know, a shame because I think we're all keeping our fingers crossed that Dusty gets rested either this week or the next against the Crows, so he can play his 300th game here in Melbourne. But I'm not sure what that'll do. That's a conversation, a whole different conversation that we can talk about another time. But look, like I said, disappointing to lose. You never want to walk out of a game with a loss, but I think overall we can hold our heads pretty high as Richmond supporters and think, you know what, we gave it a crack. We gave it a red hot dip. We're playing with like 24 AFL listed players right now that we can actually select from. When we came up against a team that's top 4, and we probably could have beaten them. I'm, for one, pretty proud of that. And obviously, like I said, I'm not content with that. I'm not happy with that. But again, it's a reflection of where we're at as a club at the moment. Seeing efforts like that and us not just dropping our heads and getting rolled over 3 weeks in a row, it is impressive, and it's stuff that I wanted to see. So again, that's pretty much all I've got for the game. I don't like to go into the numbers too much and break them all down. I mean, you get that in all the footy shows. I just like to give my personal thoughts. And from what I saw up front, I haven't watched the replay. It's always hard to watch replays when we lose. And obviously this year I'm going to be doing a lot of that. But yeah, I haven't watched the replay yet, to be honest with you. I've just watched that Dusty goal from the boundary about 75 times today. And I'll probably watch it another 75 more in the next couple. So that's pretty much it, like I said. And just quickly, I do want to touch on Dustin Martin because this bloke here is writing absolute gems, and I've got to shout him out one more time. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. So if you go to neds.com.au/blogs, there's a guy called Guy Who Likes Sport. That's his name, I guess. I don't know who he really is, but that's the name he goes by on this blog. And he's written an article here on May 16th, and it was called Leave Dusty Alone. And I won't get into it because I'm not going to spoil anything here, but give it a read. I'll leave the link below as well for this one to have a read of. The amount of detail he goes into, and the amount of appreciation that I mean, we've all got appreciation for Dusty, but the amount that you gain just from reading this as well, it's one of those tearjerkers almost. So give it a read. It's honestly outstanding. Obviously a diehard Richmond supporter by the sounds of things as well, and he's trying to be neutral, but I think this article, he sort of let it slip a little bit, but I love that. I absolutely love that. So go check it out. Like I said, I'll leave the link below if you want to have a read. It'll take you 2 minutes to read it, and it's worth every one of those minutes. So have a read of that. You'll absolutely love it. Thank you, though, for watching. Thank you for all those who have been asking questions on the question and answers over on Instagram. I'm loving to be able to connect more personally with everybody. Obviously, the messages do come through. I try reply to everybody. Not that I have an abundance of messages, but it's more the fact that some get sent into the, I've got to accept the request and I just forget to look. I'm just probably lazy on my behalf. So I do appreciate when people do reply to these Q&As. It makes it a bit easier to connect with everybody. So thank you for that. Again, there's so much Richmond content out there at the moment, so many good pages. Get around everybody. We're going to stick together at the moment, and this is a good way to support one another. So please go and do that. What else? What else haven't I touched on here? I think that's pretty much it. Wednesday nights on the Jumper Punch channel, Forever Rivals from 7:30. It's live. Go over there, jump in the comments, back me up. I've seen a few Richmond supporters getting in the comments recently, which has been amazing. Obviously, we need all the support right now, and especially after this week. There's like the Bomber supporter on there is going to rip into me after this, and I'm going to need a bit of backing up in the comments. So, if you're not doing anything, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m., jump on. I'll post it on the Instagram. I'll share the link on my Instagram, but it'll also be in the caption of this video, so please check that one out. But that is all. Again, it's late. I'm ready for bed. I'm ready to start the week. And I'm going to leave it there because it's another Richmond loss, unfortunately, but it's one that we can walk away with our heads held high. So thank you again for watching. Appreciate all your support, and go Tigers.